story I chose was the Stinky Cheese Man. Now, before, I just want to let you guys know that the reason why I chose this story is because I hated fairy tales as a kid. I really did. Like, they were always stupid, and I always thought that they were just over the top until I read the story of the Stinky Cheese Man. And it really intrigued me. I loved it because it was kind of, it gave us an ability to look at things further than what they were actually are. And so now that I, did my own version of it, I kind of really got to expand on that and the possibilities of the characters. So this is the story of the Stinky Cheese Man by John Scieszka. I can't pronounce his name right, but here it goes. So, once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was an old couple, really old couple. We're talking Guinness Book of World Records old, okay? And they lived in this little old house. And they would always sit and bicker at each other. They're like, oh my God, this freaking sucks. I'm old all the time. Like every day I'm old. And the lady is just looking at the man and just like, I don't even love you anymore.
Aww.
And they're just upset at each other and they're just lonely. So the woman decides to say, you know what? I know what we're going to have to do. I think we're going to have to make a man out of some stinky cheese. And the guy looks at her, and says, what the hell is your problem? Like, that makes no sense to me, absolutely none, because one, it's a cheese, and why would you make it stinky? And she's just like looking at him and saying, you know what, shut up, I gotta do what I gotta do, And so she goes in there and she takes 2 olives for eyes, and then she puts a nice strip of bacon for the mouth, and then puts them in the oven. And then all of a sudden, this weird thing happens with the oven where it looks like it's on fire, but it's really not. It's just like an old oven because it's an old house, the old burner. And all of a sudden, boom, it pops out. And there's this really disfigured, just gross, stinky cheese, and it's just foul. It runs out, and it just has a high-pitched demonic voice, and it's just like,
demonic.
It's like, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the stinky cheese man. So he runs, and he's just running, and the old people are looking at each other, just bewildered, and they're thinking like, oh shoot, what's gonna happen? This is ridiculous. So they close the door, and because it's the smell, I'm telling you, it's like a combination between death and diarrhea. It's terrible. And so they close the door. They just close this door, and they're just kind of contemplating and just thinking. And off he goes. This stinky cheese is just running around, thinking everybody wants to eat him. He's just got like this. He's very narcissistic. This cheese, And so he sees a cow. And he looks at the cow thinking the cow's gonna eat him. He's like, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the stinky cheese man. And the cow is just like, what the hell is that? And that's it, he's just like, I don't want none of this, that's my own stuff, basically. And so he kind of just ignores him. And, and the stinky cheese man is just running around, and he's got like this weird looking head, and he's just fanciful gallop, until he sees a lady, it's a little girl, and she's kind of ugly, but it's okay. And she sees the stinky cheese man, and, the stinky cheese man gives her that look, like, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the stinky cheese man. And the little girl is just like, that's the worst thing I've ever smelled in my life. Because they kind of talk similar. And so he's just continually just running. And at this point, it's becoming a problem. Like he's just running around, just smelling up the whole town, and the town is just upset about it. And they mob up together. They're just like, dude, we have to have a town meeting, and everyone's there, and everyone's just sitting and just like, dude, this is the worst thing we've ever smelled. This, and it's a demonic little thing. We must get rid of it, and we must get rid of it right. And it's an issue. This is an issue. And they were thinking like, okay, well, who can help us? Get rid of this demonic cheese, you know, and everyone's just looking, and then all of a sudden, the nice, the brave and shiny Mr. Fox, cunning and willingly comes and steps up and says, I will be rid of this. And all of a sudden, he says, I have an idea how we're going to do this. I am going to trick it, and then I'm going to drown it. And everyone's kind of looking because he's a fox, and they're just like, oh, I don't know. You know, I don't know if that'll work because it really smells, and it might, you know, sewage the water, will turn into sewage, it's gross. And he's just like, have no fear, the cunning fox is here. And so he goes and he's just like, he's going to take care of it. So everyone in the town puts his trust on this fox. And the fox runs into the woods, sees the little stinky cheese man. And for some reason, I think the stinky cheese man is just no longer saying that phrase because at this point he's just so crazy where he's just doing this all the time and he's not doing anything else. And so the fox sees him, and the fox says, come here, hop on my back, I will get you across the water. And the stinky cheese man is just like this, doesn't care, but it goes on his back anyway, and it just gets on his back, and then all of a sudden, there's just this fight between the cheese and the fox because it smells so bad, and he's just like, away, you beast, and just gets it off, and then all of a sudden, the demonic cheese dies. It falls and spreads apart. Its demonic features are gone, and everyone is very happy. They're like, yes, the fox did it. He destroyed that demon. And everyone's really happy, but everyone's a little unsure because they're like, well, who created the demon? You know, this nasty, stinky cheese. And so they're like, oh, it was those seemingly old people over there. They did it. They're the ones who did it. And so they go and they knock on their door, and they're like, you demons, you made evil cheese. And they just take them and they burn their house down. They burn it all down because it's disgusting and putrid. And they take the old people and they send them to prison for the rest of their life where they rot. The end.